When Steve Harmon and Scott Evans arrived from North Carolina, they had a daunting task before them at KPLX in Dallas. It was 1988. They were replacing legendary morning man Terry Dorsey, and Steve was still trying to lose his New York accent. Over the next 8 years, Harmon and Evans were market leaders in the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex, receiving the Billboard Major Market Country Personalities of the Year award 3 times, along with honors from American Women in Radio and Television, the Country Music Association, and the Academy of Country Music. They are also members of the Country Music Hall of Fame. Harmon and Evans hosted the weekly Top 30 show, which was heard on 340 radio stations and on Armed Forces Radio. Later, they were also heard nationwide on Westwood One's weekly country music countdown. These days, Steve is host of The Morning Show on Westwood One's Mainstream Country Network, and Scott operates his own successful voiceover business. Please welcome Harmon and Evans to the Texas Radio Hall of Fame.
You know, honestly, I was not too worried about this until I realized we're sitting with Moby and Dean and Raj. I'm like, crap, I didn't write anything. I need more. A couple of things to start. Where's Josh? Can this award be rescinded for any? Because we got some crap to tell you. You may want to change your mind. Well, I'm the Harmon part, not retired part of Harmon and Evans. Still working, Cumulus Westwood One, and to be clear, I am not the one that gave away the car that got us fired the first time. He may be here, I'm just saying. But breaking news, my real name is Steve Canigliaro, like the baseball players. So my dear Texas friends, you have just inducted a large, fat Italian from Flushing, New York into the Texas Radio Hall of Fame. So thank you to everybody here for waiting for us. Thanks to my friend Steve Burdick, who drove out here with me. He's with, we've been together for 30 years with the Texas Wheels Cycling Club, and they introduced me to the love of my life, my wife from Fort Worth, Becky. Honored to be here with Rula. I love you, Rula. She's so good. John Trepane, who can get Darius Rucker on the phone for you for talking football in like a heartbeat if you ask him to, or whatever you want. Dean and Raj, oh my God. It's so great because we stole your birthday scams all the time. And that was before the internet. Now we can get them anytime we want. We could just steal anything you want. Mac Daniels, Country Radio Hall of Fame, legendary guy. Let me tell you a quickie about Mac. When we first got here from Charlotte, we would put Mac on, and he was always talking to like country stars, like they were his best friend or something. And I was like, man, we are going to have to get good fast because this guy's got it. Thanks, Josh, Doug, Chris Huff, Bob Pickett, Norm. Where's Norm, the engineer who kept us on the air all those years? Norm! Fabulous. And anybody that voted for us, because obviously it's a big deal. I want to introduce you to my friends since 1985. And that's when we got started together. They just put us in a room and said, see ya, have fun. Do the weather 4 times an hour, goodbye. I wish I was kidding. And he may or may not be the guy that gave away the car that got us fired. Please welcome Scott Evans.
I made him promise to not bring that up, and twice in 5 minutes. I can't tell you how much this means to me and to us. This all comes from the time we were at KPLX in Dallas, the best years of our career, I believe, working for Bobby Craig. Some of you know him as the VP of Promotions for Arista. And we learned an awful lot about radio from Bobby and even more about life. Our big break, by the way, and we did have one, was when Harmon went to CRS. Bobby Craig was reviewing air checks, critiquing air checks. And he actually liked ours and asked if he could keep it. And we could always make more. He gave it to him. And when Bobby got back from CRS, he found out that his morning star, and I do mean star at the time, Terry Dorsey, was leaving. And Bobby looked up and saw our tape. The rest sort of became history. If there are big breaks, that was it for us. And so many great things came from those years at KPLEX. So many. First of all, we won a CMA, which started things going and getting us noticed. And I think because of that, we got a countdown show that at one time was heard on about 300 stations across the country. And we became known in the format. And again, because of those 3 Billboard Awards. This was all before the internet, by the way, early 90s. And those Billboard Awards, you can't discount them because our picture was in it every year. Nobody knew who radio people were. Nobody knew who radio people, what they looked like, unless you were in Billboard magazine. We were in it 3 times, along with Rick Dees, Howard Stern, Mark and Brian, and all of our heroes. It was on par with the CMAs at that time. We were so thrilled. Every year, we couldn't wait to open it up and see our pictures. Personally, we both met our wives and fell in love, and Paula is here. We've been married 30 years now. Steve met Becky, and they celebrate their 29th anniversary tomorrow. So this is a great weekend for him. And I remember when he came into work and he says he saw Becky for the first time without her helmet on. They were cyclists in a cycling club called Texas Wheels. Got a look at her and he said, "God, you look great." And they've been going strong for a little over 29 years now. So I've been writing this for about 4 months because I went to my 50-year class reunion and had a great time. I dreaded it. 5 minutes before going, I said to my friend who was going with me, "We could blow this off and go eat someplace." And he says, "Come on, you gotta go. It's your 50-year class reunion. You'll probably never see these people again." So I went and had a great time, really a great time. It was super fun. And about an hour after I got home, the phone rings. It's Harmon saying we got in. And I said, "In what?" "The Texas Radio Hall of Fame." I didn't know when the results were going to come out. And they came out at a great moment. I really couldn't believe it. And again, this is a big deal for us, partly because it was with Bobby Craig, who was like a mentor to us. We are honored beyond words. Thank you all so much. Thank you, thank you.